What's up, guys? Lance the Obscure Movie Guy coming to you again with another video, and today's is going to be a little off the cuff. Usually I do 3 movies that you should be watching, but I did a video a couple weeks ago and somebody had made a comment on one of the videos that I should do one about Titanic films, since my buddy Webb seems to have a fetish for the 1997 movie Titanic, which is crap. It's a crap movie. I don't care what anybody says. It's stupid. It's a stupid movie. The boat sinks. We all knew it was going to happen, and it's a crappy love story. I don't care about how much money it made. I don't care about James Cameron and his wonderful CGI and all that other bull crap and Celine Dion soundtrack. Stupid movie. 1997 Titanic blows. But I thought, why not? What could happen? There can't be that many Titanic films out there, and turns out there's not. But I did find 3. I did watch them. Lo and behold, the boat sank. What a surprise. So here's 3 Titanic movies not to waste your time on. And we're going to start off with 1954 film called Titanic. This one was actually the best of the bunch. So what's that tell you? This one was just a legitimate movie. Starred Clifton, Webb, and Barbara Stenwick. I don't really know who those people are. But most notably in the movie was a very young Robert Wagner. So a lot of people would probably recognize him as number 2 from the Austin Powers movies. But, you know, love triangle, some wife's trying to get away from a ritzy husband, take the kids, show them what it's like to be a normal person and not some rich yahoo. There's a love triangle, boat sinks, 1,500 people die, whatever. Same thing. It's Titanic movie. The next one is called Raise the Titanic, which was based off of a 1976 novel of the same name, and I am sure the book was probably way better than the film. They tried really hard with this film, and it just, I don't know, I think it was ahead of its time, and it was a little bit of a convoluted story, and I don't think it got translated very well from the book to the big screen. Basically, the boat sinks, we all know that, but apparently there was like some sort of like nuclear material aboard the Titanic when it sank, and Russia wanted to use the material to make weapons, and then there's, you know, they got to raise the Titanic to get the material off of the boat, which is really too bad. It sounds like it would have been like a halfway decent storyline. Like I said, I'm sure the book was way better than the movie, but unfortunately it just didn't translate to the big screen. This movie had a $40 million budget. It only made $7 million in the theater, and sadly it starred Anne Archer and Sir Alec Guinness. And Alec Guinness, everybody knows as Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, unfortunately, his last few years, he didn't have great pick of a film if he's doing Raise the Titanic. One of the cool things that did come out of this movie, though, is that in order to raise the Titanic, per se, they actually did make like a 10-ton model of a Titanic. It was like 50 feet long or something ridiculous like that to get the right shots. But because the model was so big and so large, it actually led to one of the first variations of what is referred to as a horizon tank, where they film, you know, on the sea horizon with a model, so it looks like it's an actual boat out at sea. But it was like one of the first variations of a horizon tank. It was like 12 million gallon tank for this giant Titanic model. And another side note is, you know, this movie was made pre-finding of the actual Titanic itself. It's, you know, we only found the Titanic in 1985. It's not like we've known where it was for a real long time. The movie came out in like 1979 or 1980, so when they did raise the Titanic or find the Titanic in the movie, it was still in one piece. There had always been speculation whether or not the boat, before it was found, was in one piece or 2 pieces. So they did it as a one-piece model. Obviously, when they found the boat in 1985, they were like, oh yeah, it did split in half. How about that? So that's kind of the cool thing, though, with the horizon tank. Obviously, that's used a lot. Most notably, something like that you could have seen in like The Truman Show with Jim Carrey, where they were built, you know, his whole world was built on a soundstage. So pretty cool how they did come about that, but the movie itself, not that great. And the last one is, man, this was a waste of time. Titanic 2, which is not a sequel to the 1997 version. It's an asylum film. We've talked about Asylum before, most notably with their Sharknado films and Z Nation. This one missed the mark bad. This one was just a bad movie. some rich guy goes and builds Titanic 2. He builds a replica of the Titanic, and he's going to run the route in reverse that the original Titanic runs. So from New York to, I don't know, London or whatever it was, instead of London to New York. Either ways, builds the boat. They're out in the middle of the ocean. Somewhere off the coast of like Greenland or Iceland or North Pole or something, there's an ice shelf that collapses into the ocean, and it creates these massive tidal waves. Tidal waves that are so big and so fast that they travel at 843 miles per hour. Could you imagine that? It's not going to happen. Either way, the boat gets hit by one of these massive tidal waves, starts to sink, and the acting is bad, the special effects are bad. I mean, honestly, the boat is sinking for like an hour and 15 minutes, and I don't think anybody even got wet until like the last 10 minutes of the movie. It was ridiculous. The only shining bright spot of this movie was, God, what the hell is his name? Bruce Davison. Bruce Davison and Brooke Burns were in the movie. There's the only shining spot of the film. Bill Davison, or was it Bruce? Bruce Davison. You guys would know him as Senator Kelly from X-Men and X-Men 2. And Brooke Burns played Jesse Owens on Baywatch for 46 episodes. So, I mean, how these guys ended up in a trash movie like this is beyond me. It's kind of sad. So can we all just agree that Titanic movies are awful and we shouldn't watch any of them? And that includes 1997's James Cameron version. I don't care what anybody says. The only saving grace in that movie was Billy Zane's acting, and even that couldn't save that movie for me. So there you have it. 3 crappy movies not to watch. Don't waste your time on them, but look forward to another video where I'll give you some stuff to actually watch. So like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. I appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.